Okay, we are back in the Micro office. We've got Adobe After Effects open and we're just finessing the last stages of the stop frame. I thought this would be a good point to take you through the process for the editing of a stop frame and how you get the still images from the shoot, put them together in After Effects and create that nice stop framey video. So let's take a look. Okay, so the first thing you need to know when bringing image sequences into Adobe After Effects is they all need to be sequential. So what do I mean by that? If we take a look at the orange wipe shot, this is all the original images that we've pulled together. So there's a sequence there of about 61 images. What you'll see though in this one, there was a case where we deleted one of the images and we went back and reshot it. So there is a gap between 1903 and 1905. So 1904 is missing. If you bring that into After Effects, it will show up as a blank frame, so it won't work. So what you need to do before bringing any of your images in is to make sure, and you can use Automator on a Mac to rename them, but make sure everything's sequential. Once you've got that, you can click on your folder of images and drag it into, say, your assets folder, and it imports into After Effects an orange wipe sequence. Okay, so before we do anything with our image sequence, we need to right click it, interpret it, and make sure we've got our correct frame rate set. So naturally bring it into a project, it's set it as 25 frames per second, which is the standard here in Australia. What we do with a stop frame though is typically work between 10 and 15 seconds to give it that jumpy, jerky look. So we'll start off with 10, we'll hit OK. What we'll do now is we'll bring our project into a new sequence. This is a 1080 by 1920 composition. This is the ratio we shot at, so I'm just going to have to hit scale and bring this down in size to match. Now as you can see here, the 61 frames we've got on the image sequence for our orange wipe at 10 frames per second have given us 6 seconds of video. Now here's the tricky part. If you need your clip to be, say, 3 seconds, but you've got 6 seconds of footage, what do? The die-hard stop framers out there would say this is something that needs to have been built into the shoot. If you know you needed to have a 3-second clip, then 3 seconds at 10 frames per second is 30 frames. So any transition that you build from start to finish would have had to have been done in 30 frames. Now we've completed this in 60 frames or 61 frames. So what do you do from here? Well, there are 2 options. The first, you go back to your Finder, and then you can do something called clip binning, where you go through and every alternate take, you could reduce these, and that will give you, in this case, 32, 31 frames. My preference though is to let After Effects do the work for me. So what I'll do in this case, I will change the interpretation of the frame rate to try and get my shots down to the correct length. So let's say I go 20 frames per second. That'll get me down to 3 seconds. I'm then going to go to my effects panel and I'm going to add in a posterized time effect. And here I can set the frame rate to 10 frames per second. Now, some might call this cheating, but what this is going to do is let After Effects go through and work out if it wanted to move at 10 frames per second, it will go through and it will bin the clips for me. And now we have a 3-second video that's playing back at 10 frames per second. And here is a look now at the final video.